The Gospels tell a story known around the world. It's a story that has been passed down through generations, a tale that has shaped cultures, inspired countless works of art, and provided solace to millions. This story is not just a historical account. It is a narrative that resonates deeply within the human soul, touching on themes that are universal and timeless. It's a story of death and life, despair and hope. It is a story that begins with a man named Jesus, a man who walked the earth over 2,000 years ago, teaching, healing, and spreading a message of love and redemption. His life was a beacon of light in a world often shrouded in darkness. We hear of Jesus, condemned to die on a cross, betrayed by one of his own, handed over to the authorities and subjected to a brutal and unjust trial. The weight of the cross he carried was not just physical, it was the weight of the world's sins, the burden of humanity's brokenness. We witness his agony, his final breath, and then silence. A silence that was deafening, a silence that echoed through the hearts of his followers, a silence that seemed to signify the end of hope. The world stood still, holding its breath as the light of the world was extinguished. For 3 days, the world held its breath. 3 days of uncertainty, 3 days of mourning, 3 days of questioning. What had happened to the man who claimed to be the Son of God? Where was the promise of salvation? The silence of those 3 days was a void, a chasm of doubt and despair. Where did Jesus go during those silent days? What did he do? The Bible offers glimpses, whispers of a journey that continues to intrigue and inspire us today. Some believe he descended into the depths of the earth, to the realm of the dead, to proclaim victory over sin and death. Others see it as a time of cosmic battle, a confrontation between the forces of good and evil. Welcome to Ancient Universe Channel. The Bible offers glimpses, whispers of a journey that continues to intrigue and inspire us today. These glimpses are like pieces of a puzzle, fragments of a larger picture that we can only begin to comprehend. They speak of a mystery that is both profound and elusive, a mystery that invites us to explore, to question, and to seek understanding. This isn't just a story of what happened over 2,000 years ago. It's a story that transcends time and space, a story that speaks to the human condition, to our deepest fears and our highest hopes. It is a story that is as relevant today as it was then, a story that continues to unfold in the lives of people around the world. This is a story about you and me. It is a story that invites us to reflect on our own lives, on our own journeys, on our own moments of silence and uncertainty. It is a story that challenges us to find meaning in the midst of suffering, to seek hope in the face of despair, to believe in the possibility of new beginnings. It's about the questions we ask in our darkest hours, questions about life and death, about purpose and destiny, about love and loss. These are the questions that have haunted humanity since the dawn of time, questions that we continue to grapple with, questions that have no easy answers. It's about the hope that flickers even in the face of death. A hope that is not based on wishful thinking, but on a deep and abiding faith in something greater than ourselves. A hope that gives us the strength to carry on, to persevere, to believe in the possibility of redemption and renewal. Join me as we explore the mystery of those 3 days, a journey that takes us to the heart of faith, death, and the promise of life beyond the grave. It is a journey that invites us to delve deeper into the story, to uncover the layers of meaning, to discover the truths that lie hidden beneath the surface. A journey that takes us to the heart of faith, death, and the promise of life beyond the grave. It is a journey that challenges us to confront our own fears, to face our own doubts, to embrace the mystery of existence with open hearts and minds. Let's unlock the secrets of those silent hours and discover the profound message they hold for us today. A message that speaks of love and sacrifice, of victory and redemption, of a hope that transcends time and space. It's a message of victory over death, a message that assures us that death is not the end, but a new beginning. It is a message that gives us the courage to face our own mortality, to live our lives with purpose and passion, to believe in the possibility of eternal life, of hope that transcends the grave, a hope that is rooted in the promise of resurrection, in the belief that life continues beyond the confines of this earthly existence. It is a hope that gives us the strength to endure, to persevere, to believe in the possibility of a brighter future, and of a love that reaches even into the darkest corners of existence. A love that is unconditional, a love that is eternal, a love that is the very essence of who we are. It is a love that calls us to be more, to do more, to live our lives in a way that reflects the light of that love to the world around us. The sun beat down on Golgotha, the place of the skull. The air was thick with tension, a palpable sense of foreboding that seemed to hang over the hill like a dark cloud. The ground was dry and cracked, mirroring the broken spirits of those who had gathered there. It was a place that had seen countless executions, but today was different. Today the world seemed to hold its breath. It was a day of mourning, a day of despair. The crowd that had gathered was a mix of the curious and the grieving, their faces etched with sorrow and confusion. Some had come to mock, others to mourn, but all were united by the gravity of the moment. The sky above seemed to reflect their collective anguish, dark and heavy with impending doom. Jesus, the man who had healed the sick and raised the dead, hung dying on a Roman cross. His body, once a vessel of miracles, now a canvas of suffering. The Roman soldiers stood guard, their faces stoic, indifferent to the agony unfolding before them. They had seen many die this way, but none like him. His presence, even in suffering, was different, commanding yet humble. His followers watched, their hearts breaking. They had seen him perform wonders, had heard his words of life and hope. Now they could only stand helplessly, their dreams shattered, their faith tested. Tears streamed down their faces, mingling with the dust of the earth. Each cry of pain from the cross was a dagger to their souls, each moment an eternity of sorrow. Darkness fell over the land as Jesus cried out in agony and breathed his last. The sky, once bright, turned an ominous shade as if the heavens themselves were mourning. His final cry echoed through the silence, a haunting sound that would linger in the hearts of those who heard it. The earth trembled as if unable to bear the weight of such a momentous event. His body, broken and lifeless, was taken down from the cross. The hands that had once healed now gently carried him, their touch a final act of devotion. The scene was somber, a stark contrast to the chaos that had preceded it. Each movement was deliberate, each gesture filled with reverence and sorrow. The weight of their loss was almost unbearable, a heavy burden that seemed to crush their spirits. He was wrapped in linen and laid in a tomb, a cave sealed with a heavy stone. The tomb, cold and dark, seemed to swallow the light, a fitting end to a day of such profound darkness. The stone was rolled into place, a final barrier between the living and the dead. It was a moment of finality, a harsh reality that left his followers in stunned silence. They had hoped for a miracle, but now they faced the stark truth of his death. Hope seemed to die that day, buried with the body of Jesus. The heavy stone that sealed the tomb also seemed to seal their fate, their dreams, and their faith. The dusk settled in, casting long shadows over the landscape as if to signify the end of an era. The followers, now bereft of their leader, were left to grapple with their grief and the crushing weight of despair. His followers were left with their grief, their questions, and the crushing weight of despair. They had believed in him, had followed him, and now they were left with nothing but memories and unanswered questions. Each face in the crowd told a story of loss, each tear a testament to the love they had for him. The weight of their sorrow was almost tangible, a heavy cloak that seemed to envelop them. The Sabbath arrived, a day of rest ordained by God. But this Sabbath was different. The usual preparations were tinged with a sense of loss, the serenity of the landscape a stark contrast to the turmoil in their hearts. The setting sun cast a golden hue over the land, but it did little to lift the heavy spirits of those who mourned. It was a day meant for rest, but rest was elusive for those who had lost so much. But for the followers of Jesus, there was no rest. Their minds were a whirlwind of thoughts, their hearts heavy with sorrow. They gathered together, seeking solace in each other's company, but finding little comfort. The anguish was too deep, the loss too profound. Each moment was a struggle, each breath a reminder of the one they had lost. The Sabbath, a day of rest, had become a day of relentless sorrow. There was only the agonizing weight, the silence of the tomb, and the unanswered questions that echoed in their hearts. The tomb stood silent, a stark reminder of their loss. The landscape, once vibrant, now seemed desolate, mirroring the emptiness they felt inside. They waited, not knowing what the future held, their hearts heavy with grief and their minds filled with questions. The silence was deafening, a constant reminder of the one they had lost. Even in the darkness of that Friday, a glimmer of hope emerged. The sky was heavy with sorrow, the air thick with the weight of impending loss. Yet, amidst the anguish, a profound moment of grace unfolded. As Jesus hung on the cross, a criminal crucified beside him turned to him. This man, condemned and broken, saw something in Jesus that transcended their shared suffering. He saw a glimmer of divinity, a spark of hope that pierced through the darkness of their fate. "Jesus," he pleaded, "remember me when you come into your kingdom." It was a plea born out of desperation, yet filled with a newfound faith. In his final moments, this criminal reached out for mercy, for a chance at redemption. In that moment of suffering, Jesus offered words of extraordinary comfort. His response was not one of condemnation or indifference, but of profound compassion and promise. He looked at the man with eyes full of love and said, "Truly I tell you," he said, "today you will be with me in paradise." These words, spoken in the midst of excruciating pain, carried a promise of hope and eternal life. They were a beacon of light in the darkest of times. Paradise, a place of peace, of rest, of being in the presence of God. It is a realm where suffering ceases, where joy is everlasting, and where the soul finds its true home. This promise of paradise was not just for the criminal, but for all who believe. Jesus, even in his dying breath, offered a glimpse of what lay beyond the grave. His words were a testament to the power of faith and the boundless mercy of God. They were a reminder that death is not the end, but a passage to a new beginning. He spoke of a realm where death held no power, a realm of eternal life and unimaginable joy. This vision of paradise was a promise of redemption, a promise that even the most lost and broken could find their way to the light. This promise, whispered amidst the agony of the cross, offers a profound insight into the mystery of the 3 days. It speaks to the transformative power of love and the eternal nature of the soul. It is a promise that transcends time and space, reaching out to all who seek it. Jesus, in his death, was not defeated. He was not absent. His spirit was alive, embarking on a journey that would change the course of history. This journey was not just for himself, but for all humanity. It was a journey of redemption, of victory over death, and of the promise of eternal life. He was embarking on a journey to the very heart of God, and he was taking the repentant criminal with him. This journey was a testament to the boundless love and mercy of God, a journey that offers hope and redemption to all who believe. It is a journey that continues to inspire and transform lives, a journey that leads to the promise of paradise. The Bible tells us that Jesus descended into Hades, the realm of the dead. This wasn't a descent into defeat, but a victorious procession. Imagine Jesus, radiating light and life, entering the depths of darkness. He wasn't there to be imprisoned, but to proclaim his victory over death. This descent into Hades wasn't about punishment, but about proclamation. Jesus went to the very heart of darkness to announce his victory, to offer hope to those who had died without knowing him. It was an act of love, of compassion, of a shepherd seeking out his lost sheep even in the most unlikely places. This journey into the realm of the dead wasn't a footnote in the Easter story. Share your thoughts and interpretations in the comments section below, and let us know which biblical mystery you would like us to cover next. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more content that delves into the rich tapestry of religious history and mysteries of faith.